to get in their way. Despite 2 grovelling attempts of his own, Clarkson is in danger of being cancelled by Amazon and potentially ITV2 for his column gaffe. But after ungraciously refusing to accept Clarkson's mea culpa, what's also now clear is the Sussexes intend to not only shame opponents, but destroy and cancel them. One woman who's experienced the wrath of Meghan is her estranged half-sister Samantha Markle, an American free speech champion who has grave concerns over the Sussexes' growing power over woke Hollywood. And I'm delighted to say she joins me live now for her first interview since the publication of Prince Harry's book, Spare. So look, Sam, I know you're a free speech champion. How do you feel about your sister, who is seemingly in cahoots with these woke Hollywood corporations to get folk like Jeremy Clarkson, Piers Morgan and Sharon Osbourne cancelled? And probably, Sam, they'll be coming for someone else next.
Yeah, all I can say is wokies step to the curb. It's so ridiculous. Granted, Jeremy Clarkson may have gone a little bit overboard, but to cancel everybody because you don't like what they say, and let's face facts. I think at this point, in my opinion, Harry and Meghan are notorious from their interviews and the Spare to being the ones who say the most egregious and offensive things. And let's face it, I think it's quite sadistic, like straight out of the Marquis de Sade playbook, to demand an apology, to humiliate someone into an apology, and then refuse to accept it once you got them on their knees apologizing. So we have to wonder, do they derive pleasure from that? Is it a conquest thing? It seems really sadistic. And this whole cancel thing, no, it's not going to fly. You can't silence everybody because they respond to something egregious that you do or that they think you do. People have to be allowed to their opinion. So that's all she wrote.
No, I think that's a really fascinating point, actually. And if I look at your family, Sam, both yourself and your father, Thomas, you have never apologised to Meghan. Now, she's wanted an apology time and again, hasn't she? She thinks the way that you acted was terrible. You've never apologised. I wonder if the reason you didn't apologise is because you and Thomas deep down knew that she was never going to accept it, just like she's never accepted Clarkson's apology.
Well, no, more than that, we don't feel like we should be the ones to apologise. When we find out that behind closed doors, PR are being paid to disparage us, and we are out there responding to that and responding to her cold disregard of us, especially my dad, no, we are not clearly the ones who should be apologizing. We extended an olive branch as a way of saying, let's all get on the same page. Let's see what we can do to make things better. But it is incumbent, in my opinion, on her and Harry to apologize to us, to the British royal family, to Great Britain. And there is no grace.
Yeah.
It's
But of
ridiculous.
course, they're not going to apologise, Sam, because over the weekend, Prince Harry gave an interview, very ironically, by the way, to one of his BFFs in the British press that he claims is out to destroy him and that he despises so much. But anyway, he gave an interview all the same to the British press and demanded an apology from the royal family and from Charles and William. King Charles is apparently considering some sort of reconciliation meeting before the coronation because he doesn't want it to be ruined. What's your advice to Charles and William? Would you recommend that they apologise, or do you think that comes with significant risks?
I think that comes with a great deal of risk. I'm not going to candy coat this. When you're dealing with people who, number one, have said they won't stop and who seem to want control and who have leaked security details about sensitive issues, who have created national and international security threats with their loose lips and their recklessness, in my opinion. I think the burden is on them to look at themselves and to apologize. But for King Charles to apologize, I think is acquiescing to, some false suggestion that he should, when all of the egregious actions, all of the injury has been directed at the royal family. And in my personal opinion, and I think the opinion of many mental health professionals, when you apologize to sociopaths and narcissists, and the world have been suggesting that there is a problem with narcissism there, you find yourself beating a dead horse. You find yourself opening the door for more abuse. You cannot be apathetic and enable that sort of manipulation and control. It would be absolutely dangerous, in my opinion, to do so. They need to grow up, in my opinion. They need to be accountable, and they need to be humble enough to apologize. That is what diplomats and humanitarians do, especially when they...
Well, they claim they're all about compassion, don't they? They claim they're all about compassion. They've shown no compassion. And I'm interested to know what you made of Harry's book, Sam, because there was no compassion shown. There's actually lots of misogynistic statements made throughout the book. I read some of them out earlier. And also, he didn't seem to show any compassion to the Markle family. Yet again, you were dismissed.
You know what? That's like water seeks its own level. It's water under the bridge. And coming from someone who would treat Her Majesty the Queen when she was, in failing health, and Prince Philip and the entire British royal family with such disregard, I wouldn't expect it direct, any sympathy or compassion towards our family. I think he is lacking in empathy, remorse, and shame. I think he's so underdeveloped and introspective that he really needs to get counseling, in my opinion, because I think he is stuck at an adolescent stage of resentment over a whole host of issues. And I think that's his blockade. I don't think he can think like an adult because I don't think emotionally he is one. So it's par for the course, I think, for him to behave as he is, bitterly and spewing delusion everywhere. And it seems to be an intention getting ployed, but it's so injurious. When you've got the Taliban pissed off at you and you're creating an Iranian international crisis, and they're using statements that he made about the Taliban as a justification for executing someone, we have a much bigger problem than just juvenile delinquency and being at a fixated stage of development. We've got someone who now is a loose cannon on the world stage, in my opinion. I think King Charles should, take that very seriously. Really.
Well, he should, and I think the title should be stripped. I don't think they should be invited to the coronation, because I think what he's now done is really undermined Britain, really, not to mention the way that he's treated his own family. And it is the opposite of compassion that I think he's shown in this book. What did you make of this threat that they might have another book coming out and that your sister might be writing her own autobiography? And Samantha, I wonder how worried you are about that, because obviously you and your father and your brother and your family are likely to be focused on much more in Meghan's book than you were in Harry's.
No, I think it is established, from Meghan Kelly to world-noted psychiatrists, there's a clear disconnect from reality. There's a clear problem with the truth. She's been noted as being a compulsive liar. Mm-hmm. So I don't really think anything she says has any credibility. And again, I don't think it's just Harry. I think both of them should see counseling. I think true. That...
it's so ironic, isn't it, Sam, that here you are, you're in the States, you're a free speech champion, you're very anti-woke, and your sister is all for cancel culture. How do you think you ended up on such different political paths?
I don't really think they're for cancel culture. I don't think that they are that woke. I don't think that they represent what they posit themselves as representing. For example, they take it upon themselves to have free speech, as we see, my God, spewing in every book, every interview. So
but if you attack them, you're cancelled. No, very good point. Samantha Markle, so great to speak to you.